Well, hello, campers. Welcome to Camp Video Games. This is a podcast about video games and their adaptations to other multimedia. This week, we're rounding out our discussion of Final Fantasy V by talking about its sequel OVA, Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals. I'm Junior Camp Counselor Josh, and as always, I'm joined by Junior Camp Counselor Sean. Camp Counselor Sean. Welcome.
Oh, hey there, campers. Word of advice. If one of your fellow campers' buttocks starts to glow, tell an adult. Do not keep it secret. Tell an adult.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of butt glowing today in our discussion of Legend of the Crystals. And it's something. This is a fascinating piece of anime. And first and foremost, as the one who's usually most critical of the adaptations between the two of us, this is in my sort of top tier of like decent ones that we've engaged with.
I would say this is S tier.
I'd give it
video
like
game
A,
adaptation.
But yeah, I can respect an S.
In its corner, this is the first true sequel to any Final Fantasy. This is a direct sequel to Final Fantasy V. It takes place 200 years after the events of the game, and
which I think is a great choice.
Yes, yes, and it does justice. It does more than justice to the game. It makes the game, which if you listen back to our 3-part discussion on that game, you'll hear us not
just
understand how to talk about the plot. This makes that silly, drawn out plot seem 100 times more interesting. This is a successful video game adaptation, and just like from the top, it's because it brings to life the pixelated amalgamation of what you're supposed to interpret as being an interesting story, and it makes it an interesting story with this like beautiful animation.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's like a or B tier watching it now in 2025. If I had found this on VHS, as for some reason it was localized in America in 97 or 98-ish.
Yep.
Before we even had an official release of Final Fantasy V. This is the first piece of Final Fantasy like multimedia, other than there may have been like comics or manga or something, but this is the first like Final Fantasy movie.
Yeah.
And it came to America. If I had found it then, I would have been like, this is mind blowing, you know? Whereas now I'm like, this is a pretty successful adaptation.
Yeah.
Because there's things for sure in it that like don't age well or aren't paced well, but like for the time it was made, I was quite impressed. Like just generally how well it was localized, and a lot of other things, but that really stuck out to me for whatever reason. And it indeed does what you said, like the plot of Final Fantasy V that was just like, they go here, then they go there, and they go there, and they have no motivation except for a call to adventure. Like, that's still kind of the main motivator of our main guy, who Pratz. What?
It's Pretz.
Pretz.
And he's not the main guy. Lanali is the main,
but it does the
character.
same thing that Final Fantasy V does. So first off, let's set it up.
Okay.
There is an analogous character to each of our main characters, which I think is a great choice to make it in the world and of the world and analogous to what we saw, but not like, here's the characters you know and love brought to life. That's
right. The only time you see the characters from the original game is in flashbacks, and they have zero like character.
Yeah,
they're just there as those avatars, which I think is a brilliant move because it allows the gamer to continue to have their own headcanon on what those characters that they played as, however it is that they acted outside of their dialogue.
Right. And yeah, we have Lanali is analogous to Lena, even though Lanali is,
She's a descendant of Bots.
Of Bart's, whatever.
Or as your game.
Balatro.
Yeah.
So she's like his great granddaughter or some such thing. And then there's Pretz, who is our replacement for Bart's or Butts, who his only motivation is, hey, adventure! I want to go on adventure!
And glowing butt cheeks.
And he does like to follow them glowing booty cheeks. And then there's the Sky Pirate Rouge.
Yes. Yes.
Who is extremely hornily captured in animation.
I learned some things about myself watching this anime.
She is Jessie from Team Rocket, but S&Mified.
Yes.
And then she has an army of sky pirates who are just these like big buxom women who all call her Sir.
Yes.
Like Marcy in Peanuts to Peppermint Patty. And so there's like that weird sexual tension there.
It's like for some reason Final Fantasy equates pirates with gender fluidity.
Yeah, well, I think that's like an interesting way they captured the gender fluidity of like, let's make this hyper feminine sky pirate army, and like still have this weird gender play about it where they call their like extremely sexualized feminine boss Sir. It was interesting. And I forget the name of the like general of Tycoon who's
that's Valkis.
He's sort of analogous to Galuf. He's not a king, but he's like the head of the army of Tycoon.
That's right. And I would say just like physically, he reminds me of Reinhardt from FF9.
Oh, Steiner?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Is his name? Is Reinhardt in his name? Or
I don't. Maybe that's his last name.
It's been too long since I played 9. But he reminds me of the big knight guy.
Yeah, he's sort of in stature. He's like Steiner. He's a little bit in personality. And Steiner had this weird sort of like he was very duty bound.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the like general, the one-eyed general, who he sort of had a crush on. That becomes like his relationship with Rouge in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can see that as well. Yeah. It's just like, it's a very smart way to like capture the fans of Final Fantasy V without having to do the thing we said about like, here's the same characters, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other initial thoughts before we really dig into this bad boy?
One of the greatest things this OVA does is it trims the cast to the bare minimum of what you
absolutely
need,
yeah,
which is the exact opposite of what Final Fantasy V did.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy V, we got so lost in the sauce because you're like, okay, who's Zizat and who's
the Dawn Warriors thing? Like, there's 4 Dawn Warriors.
Then there's the Warriors of Light,
Sid, Mid, Guido, Exdeath, Gilgamesh. All these guys.
Oh, and we also have Sid and Mid in this.
They are
OVA.
They are our strongest.
They're the
touch
direct
point
link
to the source material. Yeah. This is it was released as a 4-episode OVA. So it's like 4 TV show length episodes, all divided up to be about a 2-hour-ish movie.
Chef's kiss.
Perfect. It opens right out the gate, dun 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 dun, with the Final Fantasy V theme. So an American hearing that was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like an American in 2025 who now legally has access to Final Fantasy V is like, oh yeah,
baby,
I'm back in that world.
Yes.
It's great.
So the American localization came out in December of 1997, and I think there was a different Final Fantasy that was doing pretty well at that point in America.
Yeah, so
and that's why we got this. It didn't matter that we didn't have a localization of Final Fantasy V. Final Fantasy was in the mix.
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of American fans might have been quite disappointed if they picked this up.
The first time I watched this in the late 90s or probably early 2000s, I found a bootleg of it.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I was like, where's Cloud? Why can't I see Tifa's jiggles? Like,
and that's interesting because the art direction of this OVA is so far outside of anything we've seen in a Final Fantasy game. It's more akin to God, what's that movie? I don't think I've seen it, but I've seen like clips from it. Is it called Wizard or Wizardry, that animated film?
Oh, the Ralph Bakshi.
It reminds me of that.
I think it's called Wizards.
Wizards, yeah.
That's a strange one.
And it's kind of like that meets like Akira in its like art direction and aesthetic.
I would say pairing with Akira, I'd also put Nausicaa.
Oh yeah, like Nausicaa, maybe Castle in the Sky a little bit. It's a huge departure from the like medieval, like bright colored comforts of Final Fantasy V specifically, but every Final Fantasy that people had seen up to this point. It's a cool, weird, interesting world and aesthetic.
Yes.
That I think is most jarring early on. Like it opens with kind of similar to the game of Lanali, the descendant of Butts. She has a grandfather who's like, oh, it's the wind, dangers in the air. We need to go to the wind crystal.
Yes.
And it's the exact same call to adventure. And this time, instead of denying the call, Pretz are sitting for Barts or Butts. He's begging to come along. He's just some like local ruffian who's like, you're doing an adventure. I got to come with you.
That's right. Right. He mostly just wants to be with Lanali. It's this like, it's hard to say because at one point in the OVA, I guess it's Mid who tells him, or as they pronounce it, Mead. Which fine. Mead tells Pretz and Lanali that they are both descendants of the Dawn Warriors. He doesn't say which specifically, but Lanali's grandfather says that she is specifically directly descended from Bats. Whereas we don't know exactly Pretz's background, but it's hard to say that he's not descended from
like
Barts.
they've got to be cousins or something.
Their names are even like echoes of these people, but that's because they're the legendary Dawn Warriors who saved the world. That's like naming your kid Alexander, or like these like great
or Adolf.
Oh yeah. Most popular name of 2026, Adolf. Calling it right now.
Probably. It seems things are heading that way.
Yeah, I know.
But so they've got to get to the Wind Temple because they have that same initial call to action as the game. Pretz is following along, and they get in trouble with an antlion in the desert right outside the temple.
That's right.
And again, I'll reiterate, like, the visual aesthetic is so different from the game.
Oh my God. It brings it to life.
Yeah.
It takes these small little sprites, which like when you look at the concept artwork for Final Fantasy V, I did a little like browse through there's a huge amount of concept work that Amano did. And it's like, this is just taking that and then applying it to the anime style of the time, which is perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, because what I wanted to get at is the chocobo that Lanali summons. So Lanali's a summoner. And
Lanali's like a low-level summoner who only knows chocobo.
And she summons one, and it's this hairless pink weird thing, which is, I believe, in this game, that's Yoshitaka Amano's concept art for it. Looks a lot more like this thing.
Like it's about to go into an oven.
Yeah, than it does. Like it's going to get cooked for Thanksgiving dinner.
You got to baste that chocobo and choco butter.
Yeah, then those cute yellow feathery chocobos. And like, it's intended to be a chocobo. The chocobo theme plays when she summons it and they ride it for a bit. And then Pretz comes, and this dude is like, he's pretty strong for just a rough local ruffian.
That's right.
Takes out this antlion, he slices its head off with one cut and says something like, I had a splitting headache or something. So
I would assume that Pretz is either a freelancer, if we're going to go by the job system, which is so vital to enjoying Final Fantasy V. He's either a freelancer or he's a low-level samurai / ninja. I don't think he's a thief.
Yeah,
but
he never shows thievery tendencies.
He wields a Nodachi sword, which is pretty similar, but not the same as Sephiroth's Masamune.
Yeah.
It's an extended
It's cool.
katana.
When he comes down on that antlion, I'm like, yeah, dude, this is sick. I'm in.
I'm in for sure. Yeah. I think Josh, I have to admit, I did like way more research than needed into like just trying to figure out like what Pretz is. Because if you go back and listen to our 3-part discussion on Final Fantasy V, I keep referencing the Game Boy Advance strategy guide. When we got the first good release of Final Fantasy V, it was for the Game Boy Advance, and the strategy guide for that is just immaculate. It's perfect. And I scoured through the weapons index to see if a Nodachi was included in any of the weapons that you can get in Final Fantasy V. There's no Nodachi, but there is a Kodachi, which is a shortened straight-bladed katana, which is used by ninjas. So
I always called that a Kodakai when I was growing up, because it shows up in multiple Final Fantasy games. I was like, oh, that's the Kodakai.
Yeah.
I don't know if the pronunciation of the CH is. I think you're right. I don't know, but
yeah, I always think I'm right because I'm a narcissist.
Yeah,
but
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this is pretty good. Then we put Grandpa has to go to bed after a single battle. He thought he was going to rescue all 4 crystals.
It's apparent that this is not his adventure. He comes to terms with that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and Linali is like, go rest. Like, don't kill yourself.
Yeah, because he's been trying to shoo Pretz away. He thinks like, we got to keep this in the family or whatever.
Dog needs to get away from my granddaughter.
I forgot. Yes, he's horny. Your main protag has to be horny. This is like my biggest knock against this is like in terms of like, shonen anime lead man. He's kind of like my least favorite type, which is the horn dog. Yeah. Instead of like, I love an aloof oaf like a Goku or Luffy D Monkey. Yeah, those are my 2 favorites.
No, this is more akin to like Lupin the Third.
Yeah,
like that who's just like Fujiko. Yeah, like or like I mean I guess
Shin-chan.
Exactly. Yes, Shin-chan.
Spike a little bit.
Yeah,
Spike's more smooth about it. Yeah, but yeah, this is like not my style of leading man.
It's not our style of being feminists. Like, we're really trying to like undo the damage that culture has like dealt to modern masculinity.
But it's like I can let it go because it's the 90s and everything else about it's a lot of fun.
And Linali's skirt is really short.
I guess I'll just say now because it's going to come up soon within the first episode. I took a tally of panty shots for each episode.
Yes.
And also Linali is a young girl. I don't know how young, but they never express an exact age, but she is sexualized over and over and over again in like very inappropriate, like action-based moments is when we get the most upskirt panty shots. And there are 8 of them in the first episode.
Yeah, that checks out. I would describe the upskirts in this anime as somewhat chaste. They are not overly sexualized. They are there as a reminder that she is wearing underwear. It's not a glimpse into be like, I wonder what's behind those pure white panties. It's just like, oh yeah, like everybody's got a butt and we got to cover those butts.
Yeah,
oh my God. She's a descendant of butts. Is that it?
Like, you think it was that stupid and simple? There's like, well, she's a descendant of a guy named after butts. Let's show hers a lot, and then let's put the crystal in her butt.
In a movie,
will come up in a minute.
In a movie that has plot essential upskirts, I do think it could be that stupid.
It's gonna get real stupid by the end. Hang on to your butts, folks.
Or your bots, or your balatros.
So, once we put Grandpa to bed, the 2 of them go back out. And at some point we're introduced. Oh, well, first off, we're introduced to the big bad in this.
Yes, Raw Devil
is he's just he's
a mage who's trying to reincarnate Death Gunos,
but not X-Death.
not X-Death. And in this, he's referred to as Exodus.
And not Enuo.
And not Enuo.
This is like a new, like, interstellar threat
It's
to
not
the world.
Frieza, it's Cell. Like,
yeah. Or I guess vice versa. It's not Cell, it's Frieza.
sure.
Because Cell was terrestrial to that world. This is like an alien who's like trying to do like a multi-dimensional takeover of planets kind of
Galactus
Yeah.
style. And I've not kept up with the dumb superhero movies. Apologies if you like them.
That's
I'm
why I stick
sick
to
of 'em.
anime references.
Yeah,
'cause I don't
yeah.
know or care about this stuff.
Yeah, but Galactus is like a planet eater. And that's kind of what Death Gunos
Yeah.
is. That's a weird
and
word to say.
it's that's the part that really reminds me of like the Akira style, is the way
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff's designed, and we'll get to it at the end, like
Yeah.
when it's revealed is really great. But the introduction of the Sky Pirates, Rouge, and I don't know if there's a name for her crew.
She does have some like some of her lead hench people are named, but I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. What really does matter is like the aesthetic of machinery and vehicles in this world is very sort of like organic. It's not like wood and metal. It has this like fleshy, like round, curvy structures to it.
Yes.
And like her airship looks more like a human organ than like an airship. And
that's where the Nausicaa comes in terms of like the visual inspiration.
That's where I was like thinking Nausicaa, Wizards, and like some of the other Ghibli stuff from that time, and I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
So Rouge is just like this roving pirate she just sees a couple of kids on a motorcycle and she's like, I'm gonna steal their shit.
Yeah.
And like it's that simple. Rouge is not a complicated character. Rouge's entire motivation is treasure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
That's like a little bit of a departure from her being analogous to Ferris. Ferris's thing, Ferris didn't really have much of a thing.
No, Ferris
Other
was
than, like-
just like a princess on the run who was escaping her royal like burden.
Yeah, she didn't really have like much of a want. So I kind of like the whole just like I'm a treasure loving pirate.
Yes.
Because it's just like it's so important to have this in storytelling that
Yes.
like you have your characters want that like whenever you need to motivate them to continue going, you introduce like, well, their want is on the other side. There's a very literal part of that where it's like, oh, we're getting the gang together in like the end of 2 or beginning of 3 or something.
Right.
And it's like, well, how do we keep Rouge involved? Well, the Queen of Tycoon says you can have some treasure if you go along with
Very
it.
Han Solo coded.
Yeah. That's good point. But yeah, they Lanali and Pretz have to outrun Rouge and make it to the temple. And then we get another nice piece of characterization that like we didn't get in the game quite as well when they get to the temple and they have to get inside.
That's right. Oh, yes.
And Pretz is like, I got a solution.
Yeah, Pretz goes and
He pirates the pirates.
he holds the pirates hostage because Pretz, on top of using his Nodachi, he also uses spiky bombs, and he's holding a. Again, if I'm going to go back to a Star Wars reference, it's like when Leia is holding Jabba hostage with the thermal detonators in his palace. He's doing that, where he's just like, okay, like it's what I say, or we're out of here.
Yeah.
Like, and while Pretz is doing this, I like how you put that. He's pirating the pirates. Lanali is really in touch with her spiritual side, and that allows her to unlock the temple the proper way.
Yeah, she understands there's like some sort of logic puzzle that like the person who's spiritually connected and supposed to be able to do this can solve it and get in.
Whereas Pretz is like, let's crash the pirate ship into this floating tunnels or temple so that we can get inside.
Yeah, it's really a good way to like show us who these characters are.
Lanali is brains.
Yeah.
Pretz is brawn.
Yeah. It works well together. Man, there's a lot of wind just blowing this child's skirt.
It's the wind tunnel, buddy. Or temple. Sorry, I'm a farmer and I just built a wind tunnel. And in my notes, I kept writing wind tunnel. Wind temple.
Yeah. Which is funny. I remember like thinking that, like watching it, is like, oh, are they using the fact that it's the wind temple as an excuse to show her panties as much as possible?
Yes.
And the answer is yes, indeed they are.
But Lenali is the spiritual connection to the crystal's power. And she has a yin-yang earring that is kind of like a psychic walkie-talkie with her grandfather, who's back at home, licking his wounds.
Mm-hmm. And so as they are getting into the temple, the guy, I can't remember the general guy's name. Valkis also catches wind because he's the general tycoon, and this is like Tycoon's crystal. They're like, the three other crystals have been stolen.
They've already been stolen.
We've got to defend ours. And they don't know that, like, Lenali is going there to also try to protect it. She's not the thief. The thief is the intergalactic whatever guy.
Raw Devil.
Raw Devil.
Like R.A., not like Sun Ra, not Raw Dog Devil.
Yes. You understood how to explain that in my language, I would understand.
I've been a Raw Dog Devil before.
So he's gotta catch up. And then this scene that is playing in front of us right now, I don't recall how or why this happens. This is the Raw Devil finding out that they're there. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Here?
So Raw Devil again. He's this intergalactic mage who is attempting to reincarnate the god of oblivion. Like basically, we've talked about this before, and I did a little research to double check it.
Also, I like that he uses a computer mouse.
Yeah. Raw Devil.
Computer mouse.
Raw Devil is to Aghanim as Death Gunos is to Ganon.
Yeah. Yes, that helps clear it up for me big time as well. So he is like when Pretz and Lenali get the wind crystal, they are shown a vision of basically all the parts and pieces that are in play in this conflict.
Yes.
As just sort of a sneak peek of what they're getting themselves into. And we get our first shot of the four heroes of light.
That's right.
Who were the original protectors. Well, not the original.
Well, technically
the second round of protectors of the crystals.
5 heroes of light. Bartz.
Oh, yes.
Lena, Ferris, Galif, and Kryl.
Oh, yeah.
And Mid and Sid. So 7.
We also see Mid and Sid. We see a giant brain.
Yes.
And then the crystal goes into Lenali's breasts and ends up in her booty.
So
I am in no way exaggerating anything. That's exactly what happens.
In the version I watched, gang, you can watch this OVA for free on YouTube. Just type in Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals. It's great. I love YouTube for this reason, where I can just find channels that have a unlimited amount of free anime to watch.
What's crazy?
I'm finishing a thought.
Okay, finish that.
In this version that I watched, they did not localize the subtitles for the robot servants of Raw Devil, and I used Google Translate.
Oh, amazing! Yes, because I was kind of wondering about this.
The crystal is actually resting in Lenali's womb specifically, which thematically is interesting. I'll just say it's interesting.
Yeah. Again, it's like, I wish we'd made this character a little older for the amount of sort of sexualization and yada yada that happens. But that is interesting for sure.
Yes.
There's, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, it goes into her breasts and ends up in her booty, and it's visually expressed by her butt cheeks repeatedly glowing for the remainder of the series.
Yeah.
The thing I was gonna say about being able to watch this on YouTube is what's crazy to me is that I'm showing clips of this from the exact same YouTube that we watched it on.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna get a copyright strike that we're gonna have to argue about. And I do not understand how that works, but whatever.
Yeah,
anyway.
we'll find out. We'll F around and F out.
Yeah. So they get the crystal, they get out. And that's, I think, pretty much the end of the first episode, right?
Yeah. Basically, after Lenali gets I would say invaded by the crystal.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant experience she has.
It's a terrifying.
She's freaked out.
It's another example of like Final Fantasy leaning into body horror. But it's like a terrifying thing where it's just like, what is going on? And Pretz's like solution, basically, the first thing that comes to mind after his friend gets a big old magical wind crystal stuck in her, he's like, we've got to go talk to Haka Blue Mage, who is the counselor to Queen Lena.
Yeah, and I think the choice of like Blue Mage as sage and counsel is interesting.
Yeah.
Because a Blue Mage learns their magic by studying like the monsters of the world.
It's brilliant.
It's
brilliant. It takes the silly job system from a silly fantasy game and makes it so impactful. It makes it seem important and rational. And that's such a credit to the production of this OVA. It makes the silly things seem important.
Yeah. So episode 2, when they come out, Lenali and Pretz are face down with Valkus, who's like, you stole our crystal.
Yeah, and Valkus, he's got the full air fleet of the Kingdom of Tycoon on his side. So he's like the leader of the armada. And so basically the cops show up and they're like, freeze, you stole the crystal. And they're like, no, I wouldn't say stole, but
could you please get it out of my ass?
Oh my God. So they all get kidnapped by Rouge. She like drops a bunch of like gas bombs on them and then gets them with a net. And so the Lenali, Pretz, and Valkus are now Rouge's captives on her ship. And the solution that Rouge has to try to get the crystal out of Lenali is to give her prune juice to hope that she
I'm gonna keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you.
METHOD, man.
That's literally her plan.
Yeah.
It's the thing from the Method Man song.
Oh man, I love this. I love The Legend of the Crystal. Campers, sound off in the comments. Do you like this OVA? Because if you've got some criticism, I'd love to hear it. we're going to get to our critiques, heavier critiques later, but this rocks.
Yeah, I mean, I've got most of mine I've gotten out that the fan service of the age of the characters is bothersome to me, but that's kind of my main beef with it. Otherwise,
yeah.
And the way Pretz plays into that, but otherwise, I think it's pretty solid. Anyways, so yeah, after they plan to feed her a bunch of prune juice.
The ghost of Mid shows up while they're in prison. Yeah, and he kind of becomes their he keeps showing up to them, and I don't. It's been years since I've watched a Star Wars, but he's doing Force Ghost kind of appearances. He's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Luke after Obi-Wan dies.
Yeah, and I mean this is supposed to be, I think, like a big moment for fans of the original game of like, oh, we get one of our guys, and I think, Mid is probably the best, most memorable NPC of Final Fantasy V, other than like Gilgamesh, but the best ally that you have.
Yeah.
He's this just like constant, cheerful, foil to his grandfather's doubt.
Sure, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. He's the confidence that Sid needed to like reclaim
the youthful hope of like, and in this he is a little different. He's sort of like but actually like we lost the war after we won the war because of this outside threat that came and killed me and stole my grandfather's brain.
Yeah. Because, I think we get the flashback for that a little bit later.
Oh, I thought it was here. My bad.
Well, that's okay. Because
spoilers.
Yeah, no, we're not. It's fine. Basically, after X Death was defeated, things went on. Peace. We had a short time of peace, and then as Sid, or in this, it's Sido. As Sid is on his deathbed, he destroys all of his research around the crystals because he doesn't want anyone to tamper with them the way he did. Because if you remember the plot of Final Fantasy V, the fire crystal was destroyed as a result of the refinement techniques that Sid had developed in order to utilize the fire crystal's power into technology.
Yeah.
And that's what destroyed the crystal in that case. And he didn't want to repeat his mistakes.
Yeah.
And so he destroyed all this research, but Raw Devil's like, I'm just going to take your dead brain and just like, I don't know, like
use it.
Yeah. Just sniff around and figure out the secrets of the crystals.
Well, yeah. Cause I think there's something about like Sid's brain contains the most knowledge of the most powerful sort of spiritual artifacts in this world. As you do, the way you describe that, it's just so funny. It just reflects on Final Fantasy as a series that deals with like environmentalism so much, and like Final Fantasy V being one of the first to like dive into that message, and then we got it real heavy in 7, and then it like came back real hard in 16. I just love like, oh, that's where that came from in me.
That's right. Yeah. And campers, listen back to our multi episode discussion of Final Fantasy VII, where
it's one of our better ones,
where Junior Counselor Josh will tell you how he was radicalized by a big guy with a gun arm.
Yeah. Why Final Fantasy VII turned me into a Marxist. But anyways, there in this episode, like what happens after Mead shows up?
So
they get out, they have to escape somehow.
The pirate ship gets attacked by the robo baddies. And because they're now at Rouge's pirate island.
Mm-hmm.
And the robot baddies attack the island, and Pretz essentially destroys the entire island to defend the rest of the gang by blowing up the entire island to take out like 2 robots.
Yeah. This is actually kind of reminding me, I guess this is like my one other thing aside from the fan service. Like I wasn't wild about in like my second viewing is how much of this is sort of like action adventure chase scene kind of stuff. Like each episode has like an extended sort of like, yes, Star Wars-esque action fight escape sequence.
Sure.
Which is like it's just like not my favorite part of a movie anytime. I just kind of get like, I'm looking at my watch when that stuff's going on sometimes. I'm reminded of like, we watched Back to the Future a few weeks ago with the 9-year-old Chibis. God, there's a lot of funny stuff to talk about. Showing a 9-year-old in 2025 Back to the Future
and explaining to them what the Oedipus complex is.
Well, that was less weird to her. I'll get to why I brought it up in a second, but I gotta tell this story because, like, you know, when you raise a kid in woke America in 2025. So, like, first off, my wife forgot that Doc gets gunned down.
Oh yeah, by the Libyans.
The
Libyans.
And like,
they found me.
And like, we've like somehow shielded this child from any sort of like fantasy violence.
She gets upset by that.
She got really upset.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It was like, we had to like bring her down. And when she finally got like down enough to like talk, she goes, "Why were the bad guys Muslim?"
Yes. Oh boy.
Which is because, like, you know, we live in a community where we actually have, like, Muslim friends.
Of course.
Which, like, growing up as, like, a dumb white hick, I did not. So I did not think about it. And I was like, that's a really good question.
Well, it's because Doc Brown was selling them purified plutonium, and the Libyans were working on their nuclear program.
So this went into a extended conversation over the next day. And she keeps asking, like, well, what would happen if you had plutonium? And I was like, well, let me tell you about a thing called the Iraq War. I explained George Bush and the Iraq War to her. And I was like, because like she was like, well, what happens? I was like, well, America starts a war with you.
Yep.
Even if you don't have it.
They'll just say you do as a pretense to get your oil.
Anyway, the reason I brought up Back to the Future and this thing about like action sequences is like, the end of that movie when Marty has to hit the lightning at the right time and Doc, it's just like, I hate that sort of the like stretching the rubber band of tension a little farther like on and on and on because it's like, oh, Doc, one thing unplugs and he has to, oh, now he's falling off the clock tower. Now he's lost his shoe. Or it's just like one thing after another. Like, I hate those kind of action sequences.
Mounting tension.
Yeah, that are like, they're mounting tension when it's like, there's already plenty here.
Sure.
You're
the
just
stakes
kind
are high enough. We don't need to crescendo past the third octave up.
Yeah. And like, in this show, it only bothers me in like, there's a couple parts where like, they're like falling or like jumping at something, and it just like sort of grated my ears that like Pretz, who like I really am not a big fan of his voice actor. I think it's well done, but I'm just not a fan of it.
Sure.
Like for the time it's well done, but like there's just like a lot of scenes where he's just like for like 20 seconds at a time that I was like, it's like a little grating and just goes on just a little long for me.
I'll speak in defense of the extended action sequences in Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystal, because if we're going to adapt a Final Fantasy into a movie, it's better to have more action sequences than sequences of you changing inventory or jobs, trying to get the min-max,
for sure.
you know, trying to make those numbers. Oh yeah, another criticism though, right up top. Pretz slices the antlion or these robots. I don't see a single number over their heads.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah, and
there's no menuing at all.
We never hear ba 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 ba.
But we do hear like leitmotif arrangements of ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear many others. There's the main theme that shows up in 2 or 3 action sequences. And everything else is like a very original and very different style of music.
Yeah, the music for this was done by Masahiko Sato, and so Uematsu does not have credit on this, but he got like, you know, I think motifed is the right word, or he got
his name might be in the credits. I mean, because he wrote those melodies, and
right?
They definitely
right.
use them blatantly enough,
right? But I don't think he had
credit.
direct involvement with the production of this.
So yeah, those moments where I was just like, yeah, we got the battle music. But it just felt like I did that thing that I do when I watch like an extended action sequence where I was like, okay, checking my watch, like unless you're like making it extremely visually compelling, which like this mostly is, but like there's just some shots that are just a little long that I'm just like, okay, let's move it along.
This came to me probably at like the perfect time in my life to watch this when we did, just because I've been kind of like hurting for a good old school 90s anime to watch, and this like really scratched that itch. I love the visual style. I love just like the clear, bold colors, and just like there's like beautiful shading, but it's still just like it reads like a really well painted. Like this is one of those movies where like every frame is a painting to me. Like I would put any of these up on my wall. Just it all work, especially with Rouge. I really am really into Rouge as a character.
I forget if I mentioned in the original series of this podcast of Final Fantasy V that like we were going through the Amino art galleries in the game with my wife and kid like sitting next to me, and there were like a couple of the character portraits where she was like, I would hang that on our wall.
Yeah,
you
dude.
know?
Yeah.
Like there's some really stunningly framed like concept art.
I used to have this beautiful hardbound book of Amino's work, and it was just like a sampling of all of his different Final Fantasies and other stuff. Like he did Vampire Hunter D, which was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I forget who I gave that to, but I actually regret doing that now.
Yeah, this is like I agree with you. I think the actual animation is really like well done, meticulously done for something that was sort of like them just going out on a limb. Like, what if we try an anime? You know, and I'm curious who from the Final Fantasy team sort of championed this idea, because
I don't know. I looked into it a little bit, and like the director of the series is a guy named whose his working name is Rintaro, and he directed the anime Lion King, like the White Lion King that came out before the Disney one.
Oh, interesting.
And he also worked on an original episode of Astro Boy back in the 60s. He's done a lot. He seems to be a very big name that I don't know enough about, so I won't pretend to be an authority. But I couldn't find familiar Final Fantasy like developer names in this.
Yeah, because
unlike Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, right, which had the whole fucking gangs back in town to like to run that show.
Yeah, but that was like very much Nomura's thing. Like that was like him being like, Final Fantasy VII's my world.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And then I'm thinking of Spirits Within.
Oh, right. I always forget about that.
We should do sometime.
Brother,
I really want to revisit it.
I have the novelization of it as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Spirits Within was, I think it was Kitase's. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Who's the other big name that worked on 5 with him? It's one of the two. It's Sakaguchi or Kitase's like big swing of like, this is what's gonna like take Final Fantasy to the next level.
Yeah.
And then it just bombed, and it's just a mess. So like that one, it very much had the stamp of Final Fantasy developers on it in a way this did not, which is very interesting. And it's on my mind because this week on the Adam Friedland show, he talked to Alec Baldwin.
I love it.
Star of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. I
Wait,
believe.
Really? I don't remember.
Let me double check this real quick. Give me like 1 second.
Alec Baldwin was in Final Fantasy. If Alec Baldwin was a character in Final Fantasy, I think his what would his job be?
They had, listen to this.
Okay, go for it.
Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi, Donald Sutherland, Ving Rhames, James Woods. Just like crazy. And Alec Baldwin was like a big part of that. And in his interview with Adam Friedland, Adam's like trying to push him to talk bad about like people like directors he's worked with.
Yeah.
Because at one point he's like, they're just talking acting stuff a lot. And at one point, Alec Baldwin, something like, it's just kind of like you walk in and there's like a vibe to the production and how much like of yourself you bring to it. And Adam's like, oh, name names. Who are the bad ones? And in my head, I'm like, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. Say it. I was just like I'd kind of forgotten about it until that interview popped up in the last week.
We'll do that this year.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, not this calendar year, but within the next 365 days, we'll definitely do that. Yeah. Is there a video game version of that?
Oh my god, that'd be amazing, but there's not.
Because when there's a movie based on a video game, right? Sort of, or at least like in Spirits Within's case, it's a movie based on a video game franchise. You know the assets. It's not based on a particular video game.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a video game based on a movie that's based on a video game, for example, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia Street Fighter movie, there's I think it's a Sega CD video game based on that movie using like basically like the Mortal Kombat style like motion capture. And like it's dog shit.
I bet.
But like I always wonder when they like cross the wire so much that they're like basically like they make the pasta wet, then they dry it, but then they make it wet again, but then they dry it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, is this food at this point?
There was also Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the video game.
Yeah, that was actually good. And that was a first-person shooter.
And then
I remember that one.
There's also the Gollum video game based on the Gollum from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, is that a new one?
It's pretty new.
I think
it was
you sent
sort
me
of
something about like somebody like shooting Gollum with a machine gun or something.
no, it was just very much sort of like if there were Razzies for video games, it was like sort of thrown in that bucket a year or two ago. But anyway, moving on to episode 3. This is our like rising action, let's get the gang together episode where we start revealing all the parts and pieces to the protagonist.
Right. So the pirate island has been destroyed as a result of Pretz's actions in retaliation to the attacking robots of Raw Devil. And so after that happens, the Tycoon Armada comes in and captures Rouge and her pirates and saves Pretz and Lenali and Valkus.
And they take them to Tycoon.
That's right. Looks
very different than what we saw in the game in a compelling way.
Yeah, it's not 16-bit.
Yeah, it's not 16-bit. It reminds me of I forget the name of the city. There's a city in Xenogears that's like in the middle of the desert, and then it's got this like moat type design around it. Maybe Ave or something. So it's like it's this sort of like shining light in the desert. Is the way they designed Tycoon. But then its aesthetic is like Middle Eastern meets Far Eastern.
Yeah.
Whereas like it was just straight up medieval in the game.
Yes. It also reminds me of the opening town in the first Phantasy Star, if you've ever played that series.
Ooh, I've like only played that much.
Yeah. Same. I haven't gotten through. Shout out to my homie Dave who like showed me. He was like, there are good RPGs on Sega as well.
Yeah, but who cares about them? I had a Nintendo, god dang it. But yeah, so they have to go and they meet Queen Lena.
Yes.
Which they never say no relation, but it seems to be implied relation.
Again,
I don't know.
It's like Zelda, where every princess is going to be named Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe it's just the heir to the throne is going to be named Lena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
she's got like with her spiritual advisor, the Blue Mage Haka, she's like more in touch with the bigger picture. Like she's like, okay, I've been in touch with the other kingdoms, the Fire Kingdom, the Water Kingdom, and the Earth Kingdom, and
which all get named Karnak, Waltz, and I forget the Earth one. But,
bless you.
Yeah.
And things aren't going well, and we need to protect the Wind Crystal at all costs. And like basically was like, Lenali, I know you don't like having the crystal in your butt. I know, but we need you to hold on to it. Just clench a little longer.
Clench them cheeks.
Clench them cheeks. God damn it. This is a weird one.
Yeah.
But I just need you to clench those cheeks and like just like hold out. Like we need to figure this out. And we need to get the other crystals back. And as you would expect, the gang all agrees, Lenali's going because it's the right thing to do. Pretz is going because Lenali's going. Valkus is going because Lena asked him to. And Rouge is going because there's a room full of gold that's given to her straight up.
Yes. So they're all given a motivation to go solve the problem of the crystals being stolen.
Did we mention that Valkus is like immediately smitten with Rouge? It's like he has to like
but
he has to push his he's always inner monologuing with himself where he's like, I can't let the soldiers know how I feel for her because I need to be stoic as their leader. But oh, my sweet Rouge. Yeah. Oh, if anything happens to you, I don't know what I'd do. It's like when you see a big tough guy like that and he's just a softy. I love those characters, like Little John from Robin Hood. Right. It's just like the big guy is the sweetest one.
Yeah. Then
they get attacked by Death Gionos's or Raw Devil's robots. Yeah. Tycoon gets attacked.
Well, first we have Mead has his flashback where he explains what happened to he and his grandfather.
Yeah, that's what we went over a little bit earlier, where after the events of Final Fantasy V happen.
That happens here, not where when he is introduced. But they get attacked, but Queen Lena has assigned Pretz and Lenali to go to some place deep in the castle where there's like an ancient dragon.
There's a tower. It's a separate tower away from the castle. That's I think it's called the. We'll just call it the Dragon Tower. And that's but guess what? We get to see our old buddy Hiryu, the Wind Dragon from the
Is
game.
that who that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize until literally like 30 seconds ago when we started talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, because Lena was really into wind drakes. That was her whole character.
Yep.
Was she cared about wind drakes. So of course they have like a sacred dragon in this game.
Yeah, of course they do. And so yeah, let's see. Lenali, I think I keep wanting to say Lena.
The names are way too similar.
Yeah, Lenali and Pretz go to the dragon tower to go find Hiryu, whereas Rouge and Valkus stay to fight off the bad guys. And one of my favorite visuals in this was there's when they go down to find the dragon tower. There's the dragon. Like from Dragon Ball Z, the great dragon wall that Goku has to like traverse in the afterlife.
Oh, what's that road? I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
we basically get that. Like, and then I was thinking about, I was like, oh man, the crystals are just Dragon Balls. Like, yeah, everything's the same.
Everything's just a MacGuffin. They're all
yeah, just MacGuffins. That's right.
Yeah. So they have to go down. And when they eventually get to like the chamber of the dragon or whatever.
The 36th chamber.
Yeah. A lot of Wu-Tang references today. We get a discovery that it's just a little baby dragon. And you know, Pretz is like, what? This is the dragon.
Yeah, that's a good Pretz. That is what he sounds like.
He's so annoying. And like I touched on this earlier that like I actually do think, as much as I'm annoyed by his voice, the localization is done well. I think he captures that's probably the personality of the character.
Oh,
right?
For sure. It matches the visual.
And they make a lot of good sort of adaptations to like westernizing the jokes. Like the one that stuck out is it's in episode 1 or 2 where like he like mixes up Rouge's name and like calls her Blush or something.
Yeah, or mascara or lipstick or something.
And then there's another one where he refers to her as Barbarella.
Yeah.
Which is a very dated thing.
What is Barbarella?
I can't remember exactly. It's in the same vein as like Elvira, Queen of the Night. It's like a character like that kind of. But you know, aesthetically, not necessarily of the same world, but so like they do a good job of like translating those jokes in a way that like I think 90s anime localization really wasn't always dialed into. It works pretty well. I just am very irritated by his voice and how long he yells every time he has like an extended leap or swing at something.
Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy. It's a 1968 like sci-fi adventure with a scantily clad space pirate looking lady. Yeah. Pretty hot.
Right. Well, let's see what else happens in this episode.
I want to talk about there's just like a playful like tete-a-tete with between Mead and Pretz, where they're both kind of like vying for Nally's like affections.
Yeah, but
it's just they're ribbing each other. They don't hate each other, but they're just like I don't know. They're like they're like comparing sizes.
Yeah, and like I don't know. That was another thing that like annoyed me. Is like whenever I don't know, Pretz does that sort of like, "Hey, stay away from my girl," kind of like thing. Is like. I get it. It's an archetype. It's a stereotype. And it worked for the times. But the actual little conflict between the two of them is a nice like Luke Skywalker Han Solo dynamic. And this is Princess Leia. Duh. And there's a very good chance that Pretz and Lenali are related.
That's the other thing I was going to talk about, where it's just like, okay, they don't have the same color hair. And I know in Japan, like, everyone's got black hair, but like when two cartoon characters of different genders have the same basic color hair, it just makes you think, oh, they're just siblings. And like again, Star Wars, Luke and Leia. Like, there's this like attraction between them that is like, it starts off just like, oh, and then things go a little too far, and then they're like, I'm your sister, and he's like, well, let's just ignore that one like not platonic kiss that I gave you. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird being a human being, isn't it?
It's messy.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about like the Game of Thrones like implications of like, you know, like how complicated it is being a human being.
But it's interesting how like the degree to which I'm realizing this is just Star Wars as we're talking it out. Oh, yeah. And wondering like how much is like they were leaning on Star Wars tropes, knowing like, hey, maybe we can sell this to Americans.
Absolutely. I remember in one of the retrospectives on the development of Final Fantasy, just as a series in general, Star Wars was a major influence on just, it was everything to nerds at that time.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, I don't even know like an analog to like what Star Wars represents to like nerd culture, to fantasy, sci-fi. I mean, it's like, I guess you could say Lord of the Rings, like where it's just like one of those like watershed moments. And like it informed everything and everyone in that realm.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, George Lucas sort of codified how to make this like wide audience blockbuster appeal out of like this sort of like sci-fi Pulp Fiction of his youth in a very replicable way. You know, it's like when I'm talking about like Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis, it's like he's also just doing Star Wars in a lot of ways.
The reason, I guess, I mean, and not to give George Lucas too much credit, but I would actually go farther and just like credit like at least the for decoding it would be Joseph Campbell. Who you know, simplified the hero's journey into a palatable kind of formula, and right. So it wasn't like you didn't need a special key to get to the dragon. Yeah, you just needed some glowing butt cheeks again.
Yeah, this is the part that I was talking about, how we'd get back to Lenali's butt. This is how they release the dragon? Is that what's happening in this part? I forget. But her booty cheeks glow, and then she fires a massive glowing laser beam out of her butt.
This episode brought to you by Taco Bell.
At a tower that Pretz was climbing. Which then reveals its secrets. And that's where the dragon is. Is it that tower? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the power of the wind crystal. You can shoot laser beams out your butt to find a dragon.
Just blowing wind out her butt.
Yeah.
Butt wind.
It's quite juvenile, but it works. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most anime part of
And this is where Raw Devil officially introduces himself to the gang, because Raw Devil is embodied in this glowing red orb that is then enveloped by like a stone like robot kind of golem thing. And it's at this point, so they've got Hiryu, the wind dragon, is now freed, and despite Pretz's best efforts, he can't defeat Raw Devil's, I guess, avatar in this case. And the way that Raw Devil kidnaps Lenali like was kind of spooky to me. Like, if we're gonna have it on the screen at some point, but basically, like, the stone robot is blown up after Pretz throws one of his bombs. Look like the Pokemon Cloyster.
Yes, thank you. I was like, really just could not for the life of me understand where I knew that reference from.
But
exactly.
But then like the stones just envelop her and like it like absorbs her into this robot. And it's freaking spooky. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't know, because the reason that he steals Lenali, of course, is because she has the wind crystal. And
in her butt.
Raw Devil needs all 4 of the elemental crystals to revive Death Gynos, obviously.
Yes. It's the only way to do it. And this is our sort of climactic moment that ends this episode, I believe, is that she gets kidnapped, and now we got to go figure out how to find her. And in classic Final Fantasy fashion, where does that happen? Outer space, baby.
Oh, yeah, dude. Do you go to space in the first Final Fantasy? I know you travel time, but I don't remember going into space.
I don't think you go into space until 4.
In 4? Okay, I've never played 4.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
What?
I know,
It's so good.
I'm a bad boy.
I would actually, you know what? I did it a few years ago. I played through almost all of it on Christmas Eve.
Whoa!
I was at my parents' house,
Yeah.
and like, it was just me and my parents with nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I just hooked my computer into their TV and just sat in their living room playing Final Fantasy IV all day. And my mom's like, "Is that what you're gonna do all day?" I was like, "Yes, this is exactly."
I remember I had Christmas with my in-laws, and I read a full novel. I read J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy in one sitting. Because I was like, I'm gonna drink a bottle of champagne and read an entire novel, and I'm not gonna say a word to my mother-in-law.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy IV it's like if you either play like the Pixel remaster, which has like a fast forward function and all the extra stuff, or play it on an emulator and just fast forward like in battles and stuff, and just like go through the story. It's totally fine to play it that way.
Yeah,
and it goes quick. It really moves.
I owe it to myself. Maybe
Yeah.
this Christmas I won't talk to my family and I'll just play Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more memorable beat by beat than 5 was. Cool.
Hey, hot take. Final Fantasy is good.
Yeah, I'm a fan. But anyway, yeah. So episode 3 ends with Lonali's taken away. His full power is like revealed.
Yeah, that was not
up.
his final form.
Yeah,
being the size of a teddy bear. Now
this is anime. Something's got to evolve into a final form
for sure. So he evolves into Dragonite.
This won't be the last time that happens in this film. So
Hiryu basically he's acting like Sildra to to Ferris's ship, where he's towing let's see, Valkus's ship is called the Iron Wing. And I think, is it Valkus's ship and Rouge's? Yeah, Rouge and Iron. So the pirate ship and the Tycoon fleet are towed by Hiryu into space, because it turns out that this planet has not always had 2 moons, and the dark moon is actually, that's no moon.
Yeah.
Jesus, another Star Wars reference. It's the Death Star. That's no moon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the enemy's base.
And it's been looming in the background throughout this entire series.
The dark side of the moon, baby.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, the gang's got to get to the false moon and stop Sun Ra.
Yeah.
Stop Sun Ra, the intergalactic invader.
Now, hold on. Those notes, is that jazz or is that blues? I don't understand what you're playing.
Which is funny. There is a Sun Ra movie where he invades Earth from outer space.
Really?
To educate the youth through freak out jazz or whatever. It's really good, actually.
Nice. What was that? The orchestra?
Yeah.
That's sick. Shout out Sun Ra.
Yeah.
Didn't think we'd be mentioning him in this Final Fantasy discussion, but life is strange.
That happens when you hang out with me.
It is weird being a human. So they go into space.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the Black Moon. And these crystals are the energy that is needed in order to fully bring back Death Gynos into a robo body horror.
It's awesome.
Amalgamation. It looks so good.
It's so sick.
If you like this type of aesthetic, there's a really cool anime series called Guyver Booster Armor, where people can turn into these giant body horror monsters to fight demons.
Cool.
It's sick. Also, free on YouTube. Don't pay. Hey, you know what? This is an anti-Crunchyroll moment, because I think that they
steal everything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, we're recording this a couple days after the Netflix Time Warner thing was announced.
Yeah, could you break that down in like very short terms.
Netflix is buying not Time Warner, Time
Warner Brothers?
Warner, AOL, Warner Brothers, HBO, whatever. It's all just one company. It's all just going to be Netflix
So
now.
what happened to anti-monopoly laws?
That was never really a thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We got 4 years of Lena Khan, and now it's over.
Cool.
But like, I am in the process of rescuing all the important things from those platforms and then canceling them forever.
Oh, you mean you're buying all the DVDs and you're keeping them in a secured bunker in your basement?
I am absolutely paying individually for each product to the original rights holders, and all that money is surely going to the artists who put their blood, sweat, and tears into creating those products, and I'm preserving them. But anyways, Sun Ra guy. No, there was a cool transformation. I pulled it up of as he starts absorbing the powers of the crystals and Lanali with the one in her butt.
Yeah, because Raw Devil is using his own mecha body to be the vessel for Death Gunos's reincarnation.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this that makes for some really fun lore to start playing with in the Final Fantasy universe is our heroes crash land on the moon where they need to try to save Lanali and stop this. And there's all kinds of modern infrastructure. There's broken highways and rebar and concrete everywhere.
Yeah.
And like modern buildings.
That's because Death Gunos he's a planet eater, and he like absorbs the energy of other planets. So like Galactus in the Marvel universe, he goes from galaxy to galaxy or solar system to solar system and just like absorbs these planets. So one would assume that these are all the relics of conquered worlds.
Yeah. And then it just makes you go, oh, is one of those worlds ours? Because this looks like our world.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun to play with.
That is fun. You just gave me goosebumps.
So, I mean, what happens here besides...
So Death Gunos is now like, I am oblivion, I am death, I am become the destroyer of worlds. Mm-hmm. And Valkus is just like, full steam ahead, we're ramming it. And that puts him out for a little bit. And to the point where they're able to rescue Lanali from her from being plugged into the crystal outlets. Mm-hmm. They get the rest of the crystals back, and it just looks like Mako. Like it's or Mako, or I guess materia, because it's refined Mako.
Yes.
But so they get the crystals back. The crystal's still in Lanali, but Death Gunos is not defeated after a jet crashed into him. And we have what I would call I think one of the most anticlimactic like final boss fights in Final Fantasy, where like it's just like, okay, like we're gonna give everything we've got. I mean, it's concurrent with kind of your experience with X Death in Final Fantasy V, where it's just like, all right, gang, let's all fight together and use our strongest attacks on this guy. And what happens is the crystal ejects from Lanali and injects into Pretz.
Yeah.
And they like do a fusion attack that like Pretz's ability somehow amplifies Lanali's summon technique, which turns the Chocobo summon, which is the only thing that she can summon, is just the Thanksgiving turkeys, and it turns it into a Chocobo like laser attack.
Yeah,
that
mega Chocobo bomb
that gives them enough juice to be able to let. I think it's Pretz that deals the final blow with his gigantic sword, because he's got to be the hero.
Yeah, you can't have a movie where the girl gets to be the hero.
No,
we can't do that.
No, not until the Terminator.
Yeah, so she just throws a wall of chocobos at it.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that's a funny way of like representing how the chocobo summon works in Final Fantasy, where it's just like I don't know, it's like throwing like if I threw like a handful of like ladybugs at you, like where you're like, no, not one ladybug, a billion ladybugs.
Yeah, but if you throw enough ladybugs, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's enough to give Pretz the chance to deal the
yeah, because he's got to come back for one last gasp of attack.
It's pretty cool, and yeah, Death Gynos / Raw Devil looks awesome.
Oh yeah,
such a cool looking monster, and it was brought to life so well through this animation. I think it's just like all of it just led up to this like 5-second fight.
Yeah,
which is one of the only like lowest parts of this that I could really.
I think that's where I feel this, I don't know, sort of boredom with the action sequences is that like the part that's the most visually interesting gets yada yada, probably because to have hand drawn a fight against a monster with that much detail for too long would have been too expensive. Whereas like long shots of like people falling and like space or like his Raw Devil's ships chasing them, where it's just a static image of a ship moving through the sky, is way cheaper to animate than like this throbbing monstrous Cronenberg monster. So it's like a little disappointing, but we still get that one big spirit bomb of chocobos and like Pretz's slice and then hero pose. It's like you at least get something, you know? And then we get like the final shot of Mead after Death Gyros is gone, rejoins the heroes of light.
And
his grandfather, who's holding his own brain.
the Jedi Force ghosts, they're even blue and like see-through, and the Ewoks are singing, and they're just like nodding and smiling. And for some reason, they brought back Christian Hayden. Or what's his name? Hayden Christensen.
For some reason, my notes, I just wrote, Kryle's a piece.
Those are your words.
Well, I think it's funny. Part of the reason maybe I wrote that is that for some reason, all the other characters are like super westernized.
Oh yeah,
in like Western fantasy style, and then Kryle's like the one sort of like anime fan service hottie standing amongst the Force ghosts.
That is interesting,
and I don't know why they chose that.
I guess because they could.
It's very odd. I noticed that when they first flashed back to them, I was like, these characters don't look like anime. They look like Dungeons and Dragons artwork. You know?
I guess that might be like to show the evolution of their era, where 200 years ago that's how people looked, and now that they're in a more enlightened time, you know, they're a bit more Easternized.
Yeah, and then you know,
Hero takes them back to Earth. And then we get that sweet little epilogue where Pretz and Lanali and Grandpa, they're back on their little boat, you know, doing their fun stuff outside of the Wind Temple area. And it seems like, you know, they don't implicitly say that Pretz and Lanali are now coupled.
Yeah.
But it sure seems that way.
Yeah, but
more importantly, Valkus and Rouge have coupled.
Yes.
And we get to see his cute little costume change when he takes on the pirate job skill.
Yeah, I have that Valkus. My last note is Valkus becomes a leather daddy.
Yes.
Salutes to Valkus.
Salute. Salute.
Yeah, he rocks.
Man,
what a king.
I love this. I truly, truly loved Final Fantasy: The Legend of the Crystals.
Yeah.
If I had the attention span and like the clarity of mind to appreciate this, I feel like it would have like changed who I am like as a gamer. I would have been much more prone to play older Final Fantasy stuff. Like this is such a good introduction to the world of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and it knows exactly how much to take and how much to leave behind and how much to take its own swings to be an original property without the thing I always complain about that, like, especially very modern adaptations and Western adaptations do, where they're like, see, we did the thing from the thing. Remember,
Yeah.
It's just enough of the world and then just enough of its own flavor that I'm like, I'm in. This is cool.
One more thing. So if you like this, campers, and you need more of this style anime that's based on a JRPG, the director of this series, Rintaro, he also did the 1989 Dragon Quest anime adaptation.
Oh, snap.
So,
is that
I'm
going to be
licking my lips right now?
Those Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD just came out. Actually, I don't know. I played a little bit of Dragon Quest 1 recently. It's
fun, dude. I played
wild.
I played like 6 hours of it this year, and I just love that grind.
Yeah, I'll use this too for anybody who listens this far to plug my Secret of Mana video.
Oh yeah, and we'll link that below. Too.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I was like comparing the style of gameplay, this sort of like out and back until you run out of strength thing that Dragon Quest does, and like comparing it to how like Elden Ring still kind of does the same thing.
Yeah,
and how like Secret of Mana has like these moments where it feels like they wanted to do that and then they didn't. And like it could have been a better game if they had done that and made it a little more challenging.
If enemies weren't randomly dropping like small candies, like because you're able to
like the balance of the game just kind of falls apart.
I see.
Pretty early on, and you're just like overpowered the rest of the time because you get enough money to always have a full inventory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like why I was playing Dragon Quest, was to like sort of re-experience that and kick the tires of it, and like it works very well. Especially when you play it on an emulator and you can fast forward through those battles.
What? No, emulation's illegal, Josh. You mean when you go into your basement, into your secure bunker to find your legally purchased that you've just done
Dragon
some
Quest
software.
1 and 2 HD.
That's right.
Just released because we need that. We need Square Enix to continue to make $60 per every generation of gamer for every game they've ever made.
Eat your slop, piggies.
Which, to say, if it's on sale at any point, I might pick it up.
Yeah.
But that's for another day and another time.
Well, campers, we did it. We have spent probably like 10 hours talking about Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystal. Mm-hmm. So if you want to ignore your family this holiday season, why don't you just put your headphones on and listen to Camp Video Games? And if you like what you hear, patreon.com/Camp Video Games. For $5 a month, you'll make us happy.
Yeah, I know that's right.
And we'll do our dangdest to make you happy back.
Yeah, that's right. So, we're recording this as the holiday season's coming up. So.
Hail Satan!
Hail Christmas. I love Christmas.
Hail Santa!
So I don't know when the next episodes are going to be out or exactly what they'll be, but there will be more.
Dun, 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 dun.
Subscribe to this channel.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's it. Okay. Goodbye.
Love you, campers.
If you'd like to write to us, send a message to campvideogames@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram @campvideogames. If you want to become a real happy camper, you can support Camp Video Games on Patreon. For $5 a month, you'll be granted access to even more discussions about movie-based video games, game-based movies, full-length commentaries, playthroughs, and more. Whether you sign up or not, we're glad to have you here at Camp Video Games.